first things first. I am now currently, I can read Twitter, but I can't post on Twitter or like Twitter or do anything on Twitter. I can't even make bookmarks because I made a joke over on Twitter, and apparently they took it serious. You can see here it says, "Hey Joker, your account Better Bachelor has been locked for violating the X rules against speech." And what I said is, this was somebody posted, Sharon Stone recreates notorious Basic Instinct leg cross scene in red lingerie. And I had posted down below this, I will pay good money not to see this. If anyone shares that photo, I will come to your house and set you on fire. I'm not kidding. And apparently their AI scrubbers found it and found it problematic. And they said, excuse me, they said, if you want to stay on Twitter, you have to delete this. And I said, it was just a joke. It's no big deal. And I deleted it. And then they're like, oh, thank you for deleting that. You cannot post, comment, like, bookmark, basically interface with Twitter for the next week. I was like, man, I would have argued it if I knew that. That's just BS. Let's see. Unicycle Peon says $20. I love some of your names sometimes, dude. Unicycle Peon says $20. Thank you, sir. One thing that helps with Russia or Rumble is setting a regular live stream schedule and doing a simultaneous stream on YouTube and Rumble on a regular schedule on specific days. Do that regularly for a year. I will do it regularly to Rumble. I am not doing it on YouTube. I'm tired of YouTube. YouTube has all but squashed my Better Bachelor channel. I'm now getting more views on Rumble than I am on YouTube. I'm getting more views on my second news channel on YouTube, Odd Man Out, than I am on Better Bachelor. I did the video on the world and Elon Musk joining their advertising team, and because even though I edited out and world and all the other stuff, I went back and watched it with the automated closed captions on, and their AI knew I was saying, because I kept the beginning of the W and the end of the F, and I guess they knew because the AI knows it's such a short word, they were able to figure out eventually that I was saying, and they demonetized me. Every video I've done since then, they've stopped showing my videos and recommending them on the main page nearly at the same rate. My views, like one of my most recent views on Better Bachelor is 24,000 views. My newest channel on YouTube that I started a week ago to do news stuff, I'm getting 27, 28, 29,000 views. And I only have 12,000 subscribers over there versus the 471,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I got a video that's got 24,000 views. Let me just make this clear. I'm not complaining. My views are down. I get it. Like, if they don't want me on there, that's fine. But I'm not going to give YouTube as much of my business anymore. I'll come over here. I'll stream to you guys. I'll take a couple of donations. Maybe I'll do an ad read. And it may not pay me a tenth of what I got at YouTube, but it's enough I can pay my bills. And I don't care about YouTube that much anymore. And if people say, well, I'm only staying on YouTube, okay, fine. Then you don't like me as a creator that much and you don't want to make the leap. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it anymore. McSquared says, $5. Thank you, sir. Hey, Joker, firsthand experience today dealing with the aftermath of the computer outage. Many of my vendors were unable to process orders today. We aren't talking small-time local businesses. These are large corporate distributors. Yeah, I'll get into that story. I'm just rambling here for a minute. Unicycle Peon says $5. And to be clear, any simulcast on YouTube Rumble, just make the first 30 minutes to an hour on both in clean mode, then go pure Rumble after that. Maybe, I don't know. I fucking hate YouTube. I just do. I hate YouTube has been wonderful for letting me grow an audience. They're the reason why people come over to Locals, because they hear me saying, hey, become a supporter, $5, Locals, and people come over to Locals and I can make a living on Locals. And now I'm going to make the leap, I think, to Rumble, because in all the years that I got to get to the news, but let me finish my frickin' rant now that I'm on it. I've been on YouTube for a long time, and at the 100,000 subscriber mark, you can request a plaque, the silver play button or whatever. And I was like, I don't want that shit. I'm on a bus traveling across the country. I don't have room for space. But now that I'm getting ready to do my studio in my house, I said, hey, you know what? Maybe having the play button would be kind of cool. So I signed up for it and everything, and they came back with a message, and they said, even though you have the correct number of supporters and views, we don't feel that your content is is in alignment with YouTube values. And they refused me my play button. Fresh and Fit have a play button. Of course, they're demonetized now. And Just Pearly Things has a play button. Of course, they're demonetized now. And they refused me my play button. So I'm like, you know what? I'm bringing you in ad revenue. They keep 70% of the ad revenue or 30% or something. I'm making them plenty of money. So if they don't want my money anymore, f them. Like, f them. I'll stream on Rumble and give Rumble my views and my attention and help them grow. And Rumble had a rep reach out to me. And the guy's like, hey, I'm your locals Rumble rep. And I'm like, I didn't even know I had one. And he's like, yeah, man, we're gonna maybe start promoting you on the main page now, and we'd like to help you get your community to grow. And I'm like, have you seen my content? He's like, yeah, we think it's great. I'm like, oh, what? Who are you? Where YouTube's like, could we please scrape you under the rug and pretend people like you don't exist? And then Rumble's like, we will let us help you. We'll find ways to help you monetize, and so you can make income off YouTube, and we want to help you. And I'm like, you bet, man. So I want to give my attention to Rumble because Rumble's giving their attention to me. And I want to give my attention to locals because my community over there, we've got 67,000 members over on locals. 67,000 people have signed up with their emails and at least checked out the page. Now, I wish those people were supporters because at $5 a pop, I would be able to make $300,000 a month, and I would be a very rich man. The men's retreat would be ready like in a month. I'd be turning into Mr. Beast over here. Unfortunately, less than 1% of, actually less than 0.5% of the members over there are supporters. So it's much less money. So if you guys are on Rumble and would like to get to a community where you can say anything you want, talk about anything you want, share memes and clips and videos and funny crap in the community over there. Like I've got 150 people on live stream on locals right now and 300 on Rumble. So my locals people watching this is about half the size of the Rumble people. All right, let me get into the news. I'm tired of my rant. You guys get it. But I do want to give you an update what's going on with me and why I'm so hateful of YouTube. One last thing. I even had people, I made that nice video about Corey Comparatori, the firefighter that was ended by this, punk at the Trump event. I made a nice video about that. That got squashed. It only got 24,000 views. But on top of that, people were saying like, rest in peace, and he was a hero. All those comments were getting deleted. People are like, why can't I comment on this video? Why can't I comment on this video? Like all I did is say peace or whatever. But they had to type it out phonetically. YouTube crackdown on even the people commenting on videos has gone out of control. But I'm just saying that the more you can support me on locals, the more you guys, whether you live tip or subscribe or whatever you can do, it does help me put my ducats in my pocket so I can just tell YouTube to off. I'm so tired of them. Cybersecurity. This is from Reuters as of 11/27, so just updated an hour ago, they say. Global tech outage disrupt industries, highlights online risks. They say CrowdStrike. Now, remember that word, CrowdStrike. That is very, very, very important. CrowdStrike software update triggers outages for Microsoft users. It ranks among leading global security firms. Wide range of industries affected. Companies reporting restored services after outages. Slowly but surely. CrowdStrike shares fall. Cybersecurity rivals gain. So they say from July 19th, a worldwide tech outage crippled industries from travel to finance on Friday, before services started coming back online after hours of disruption, highlighting the risks of global shift towards digital interconnected technologies. A software update by global security firm CrowdStrike appeared to have triggered systems problems that grounded flights, forced some broadcasters off the air, and left customers without access to services such as healthcare and banking. Now, if you look at this image that I have up here, this says system down. This is it looks like a They sell diehard batteries, so I'm guessing this is probably like a Pep Boys or an Advanced AutoZone or an AutoZone or one of these places where you can go in and pick up crap for your car. This says system down. We've been affected by the global cyber outage. Sorry for any inconvenience. So it's retail kiosks, it's small stuff, it's large stuff. This is across the board. Now you may be asking yourself, okay, but why is YouTube and Google and, for example, Rumble, why are they still working? Most servers run off Unix and Linux systems. So they use a completely different language. They probably have different security protocols. Like most security teams, when there's an update, and I know this from working in IT, usually most security teams, when there's an update to like your servers or whatever, you test it first. And so you don't just keep, updates live and let them get pushed out when a company pushes it out. You capture it, you test it on systems for sometimes a day, a few days, a week, and then when you see everything works with your system, you'll update it to a portion, and then eventually your entire network. The only reason you wouldn't do that is because if there's like a really, really bad virus, and then usually you'll take your systems offline or make some changes. So if you guys remember, and I'll read through the rest of this story here in a minute, I will get to it. But if you guys remember, just a week or two ago, I went ballistic saying, you guys need to make sure that you have backup food, backup water. You don't let your gas tanks get down below 3/4 or a half gallon. You need to make sure you have some contingency plans, because if we get cyber attacked by Russia or the Middle East or China or whatever, it can be very quickly that we go from everything is fine to holy shit. And imagine if this had systems to where you can't fuel your car and diesel vehicles can't deliver food instead of being airlines and other things. If this went on for a week, boom, but you're in a big city, no food. You're in a big city, no water supply. You turn on your faucet and nothing comes out. You do need to make sure that you've got at least a few weeks, even if you're in an apartment, make sure that you have a few weeks to a month of food and water and other safety things, because people that don't have that stuff are going to go down to Walmart or the local store and start popping off. And you don't want to be a part of that. You don't want to be in that. You want to be, I'll keep the doors locked and stay safe. I got food, I got water, I've got my long-range hole punchers like I have in front of me here by 2 feet, and you can stay out of the mess. Miles says the CrowdStrike issue impacted my employer. Over 30,000 machines blue screened on reboot with BitLocker recovery key manual workaround needed. Yes, this is a bad one. If you didn't have, image captures, most IT companies will take image captures of current machine status. If it's a good company. I worked in the industry, and what we did is we made sure that we had backups of backups. So if something like this, you could always, safely go in and do a rewind. But remember CrowdStrike. That is the important word, because we've got some other stuff regarding this. They say U.S. President Joe Biden has been briefed. The White House official said he thanked them and then went back to getting his diaper changed and taking a nap. CrowdStrike CEO George Kurtz said on social media platform X that a defect was found in a single content update for Windows hosts that affected Microsoft's customers and that a fix was being deployed. Microsoft said later on Friday that the issue had been fixed. We're deeply sorry for the impact we've caused to customers, to travelers, to anyone affected by this, including our own company, Kurtz told NBC News Today program. Many of the customers are rebooting the system, and it's coming up, and it'll be operational, Kurtz said. It could be some time for some systems that won't automatically recover. CrowdStrike shares plunged as much as 14.5% shortly after the Wall Street opened, before paring losses to trade down about 8.5%. Its cyber rivals were up, with SentinelOne 3.6 higher and Palo Alto Networks up 1.7. Microsoft was down 0.2%. Earlier today, a CrowdStrike update was responsible for bringing down a number of Windows systems globally. We're actively supporting customers to assist in their recovery, Microsoft Chief Communications Officer Frank Shaw said in a post on X. But even as companies and institutions begin restoring regular services, experts said the cyber outage revealed the risks of an increasingly online world. When I worked for a college university, all the staff were given laptops, and all the laptops were the same. And then we had computer labs in the college that all had the same computers. And once the computers got to be about 3 or 4 years old, they would get rid of a batch of them and bring in new ones. And then the other ones got a few years older. They got rid of those and brought in new ones. And what they did is when we got a new computer to put in, like, say, a computer lab, or a staff member got a laptop, we'd install Windows, the base Windows, just base Windows, and all the software programs for that system that the employees were able to have. And then all their files that they saved weren't on the local machine. It went to a cloud save for all staff and all computers. And if we ever ran into a system like this, a problem like this, the labs and the people, the professors' laptops and the staff's laptops, they were not updated via Windows Update. They were, because that was turned off because of us. We're the software engineers. We turned that off on the image that we pushed out to everybody's laptops. And then we would get the update, we would test it, and if it was fine, then we would do an overnight push so that once the computers were either on the network, like the labs, they're always on network, or the staff came in and they opened their laptop and turned it on, it would say, please wait, doing a Windows update, 5 or 10 minutes. What's happening is people are these computer places, these companies are being lazy, and they're not properly monitoring what software is on people's computers, and they're not properly making sure that the Windows update on a local machine is turned off. It should be turned off, and it should have software on there that tells it only get it from this IP address, the Windows update, and that IP address should be the company's IT team that is pushing out the update after it's been tested. So this, not only is this a problem, but it does tell you cybersecurity, some of these companies and the way they're doing updates, the way that these systems are being monitored is very loose. It's very relaxed. It's very problematic. This is a big problem. This is not good, basically. They say, let me make sure I don't reread something. They say, but even as companies and institutions begin restoring regular services, experts said the cyber outage revealed the risks of an increasingly online world, which is what I've been warning about. This is a very, very uncomfortable illustration of the fragility of the world's core internet infrastructure, said Syrian Martin, professor at Oxford University's Blavatnik School of Government and former head of the UK National Cybersecurity Centre. While the core problem appeared simple, which should make it short-lived, its immediate impact was remarkable, Martin said. I'm struggling to think of an outage at quite this scale. And they show United Airlines sitting in front of a blue screen terminal. They say, accelerated by the COVID-19 pandemic, governments and businesses alike have become increasingly dependent on a handful of interconnected technology companies over the past 2 decades, which explains why one software issue rippled a far-wide disruption. They say early on Friday, major U.S. airlines, American Airlines, Delta Airlines, United Airlines grounded flights, while other carriers and airports around the world reported delays and disruptions. Banks and financial service companies from Australia to India and Germany warned customers of disruptions, and traders across markets spoke of problems executing trades. We're having the mother of all global market outages, one trader said. In Britain, booking systems used by doctors were offline. Multiple reports posted on X by medical officials said, while Sky News, one of the country's major news broadcasters, was taking off air and apologized for being unable to transmit live. Soccer club Manchester United said on X that it had to postpone a scheduled release of tickets. Airports from Los Angeles to Singapore, Hong Kong, Amsterdam, and Berlin said some airlines were having to check in passengers manually, causing delays. Government agencies were also affected, with the Dutch and United Arab Emirates foreign ministry reporting some disruptions. As the day progressed, more and more companies reported a return to normal service, including Spanish airport operator AENA, U.S. carriers American Airlines, Frontier and Spirit, Dubai International Airport operator, and Australia's Commonwealth Bank. U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, booty plug, said transportation system issues appeared to be resolving and would hopefully be back to normal by Saturday, adding the Federal Aviation Administration did not appear impacted. LSEG Group also said its data and services were back up and running after the outage and caused some disruption across financial markets. Still, industry experts weighed the potential impact for the sector of what was called the biggest IT outage ever. Now, let's run this through our heads. What happened if this push by CrowdStrike, did I say CrowdStrike? Not CrowdSource. Let me make sure I'm pronouncing this right. From CrowdStrike. Let's say that this was intentional by CrowdStrike someday, just someday. Let's say CrowdStrike gets compromised. Let's say it's owned by BlackRock and they decide, okay, guys, it's time to take down everything. And we talk about mass starvation events and mass, outages and chaos and the world plummeting into chaos. If this went out and it wasn't able to be resolved or was designed not to be resolved, game over. Airlines, toast. Food delivery around the world, toast. Now, this didn't really have, I don't think it had much impact on gas and fuel and things like that. But what if it did? What if it did? These are the things you need to be mindful of. And I've said this before, we don't really have local farms and local communities and local wells and local water and local sanitation. Everything is to these big industries, especially around cities. If they decide to purposefully someday pull the plug on that, you want to make sure you're in a situation where you'll be okay. Maverick says, could this be a test run to evaluate any similar systems used to tally votes in November? We'll get into that a little bit. I will touch up. I don't know. I don't know if the systems on the machines that are that tally the votes, I don't know if they're Microsoft based. I don't know if they have CrowdStrike. They're not even supposed to be connected to the internet, but we know that's bullshit. Miles says the CrowdStrike issue. Okay, I read that. All right, caught up on the live tips there. So all I'm saying is that at some point this could happen to where instead of being a couple hours of outages and delaying flights a little bit, what if one day they do this on purpose to shut down everything? It sounds crazy, but this could lead to a mass extinction event of the human race. And you're like, dude, it's just a couple of airlines. But if it takes out airlines and it takes out the fuel delivery systems, transporting or processing diesel or gasoline, and the planes stop flying, which is international trade, and the ships stop sailing. If you remember, there was that ship in the port of, where was it? Baltimore? I think it was Baltimore, where that ship, you remember watching the lights on it blink out and it couldn't turn and it went into the bridge pier and took down a bridge. And they said our system went down. A boat system went down to the point where a ship ran into a pier. Well, what if that ship went down and it can't transport goods? Just like that, almost overnight, now you only have local goods. No more computers, no more refrigerators, no more toasters. And what if it takes down phone systems? What if it takes down water processing and cleaning systems? What if it takes down fuel delivery? So you can see how quickly everything falls apart. And this was a minor hiccup. What if they turned it on for good? That is something, because the as said in the past, prepare for a global cybersecurity event, very bad. When they say prepare for something, it usually means we're going to do something. Sanib says fuel truck driver corporate cards and truck fuel stops were affected by this, as well as shipping facilities. I've been waiting since 4 a.m. today just to be able to check on my load. There's a perfect example. There's a perfect example. So if you look at, yeah, well, who's behind you know who's going to those business meetings, but we'll touch on that in a minute. They say as the days progressed, we got that. IT security tools are designed to ensure that companies can continue to operate in the worst case scenario on a data breach. So to be the root cause of a global IT outage is an unmitigated disaster, said Anjay Uni, CEO of Stickerman Cyber, one of Australia's largest cybersecurity service companies. US-based CrowdStrike, with a market value of about $83 billion, is among leading cybersecurity companies, counting more than 20,000 subscribers around the world, its website showed. All right, so that's all they got on that one. This was another story. I don't know if it has any different information, but I pulled them up. So this is mostly about airline delays. Okay, so you remember I mentioned CrowdStrike, right? CrowdStrike is the company behind this. Remember, the has talked about be prepared for the security outage, a cybersecurity event, mass chaos, must be prepared. Well, guess who's a partner at the CrowdStrike? CrowdStrike is a leading provider of next generation endpoint protection. So they're a member of and a partner of the. So when they say you must prepare for global outage, who says it's, they don't say, okay, we now initiate CrowdStrike Executive Order 66, and they take down everything. Now you can say, dude, that's a stretch. Is it though? Is it though?